Today, you get to ask me anything. I'm Nico.
Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the vlog. Today is a bit of a special one because we have a special guest, Nico. Now, Nico is a very experienced language teacher here in Japan, and we get to hear from him today. I created a community post, and thank you so much to everyone that popped questions in that community post. And today we get to answer your questions on those posts. Now, just before we do jump into it, if you are new here and you do enjoy this, consider subscribing and leave me a comment below from where you are from. I love to hear from you. And if you have been here before, welcome back, legends, and I've absolutely loved getting to know all of you in the comments below. Let's keep that going, and remember, pop your name on the comment below because I want to know who you are so I can reference you by name. Okay guys, let's get into today's video. Let's go. Okay mate, thank you so much for coming today. Would you mind introducing yourself and what you're doing here in Japan?
Hey Christian, nice to be here. I'm Nico, and I'm an English teacher based in Tokyo. I've been here for 10.5 years now, so it's been a long time.
Long time.
Long time.
All right, man. So we've got some of the viewers' questions that I put up a post on my page, and they would love for you to answer. Is that cool?
Far away.
All right, man. Let's get into question number 1. What advice would you give to someone coming to Japan as an ALT? An ALT, by the way, is an assistive language teacher, so English teacher.
Okay, so ALT. To be honest, this is the luck of the draw, and this is what keeps it exciting. So my advice for you, be open and ready for a big adventure. You could be somewhere in like Tokyo where there's millions and millions of people. You'll have a lot of people around you, experience the real city life, or you could actually be out in the country to experience the traditional, more reserved Japanese life. Both are very, very fun and exciting. So it's up to you. Stay open, enjoy every single second.
And you're pretty lucky if you do get a job, from my understanding at least, in one of the major cities, right?
Yes, it's quite rare, but yeah, just be open. Really, be open. Enjoy the countryside life, actually. Yeah,
it's pretty beautiful, actually. Yeah. So it's actually kind of worth going in the countryside to get that true Japanese experience if that's what you're looking for. So don't be put off if you do get placed in a country, because everyone that I have heard of, and you would probably know as well from the teachers that you've met along the way, they actually love that slower introduction to Japan before hitting into the major cities. So again, like Nico said, be open to it. All right, let's get on to question number 2. Now, a question on visa types in Japan. A question from Bernardo. Mate, thank you so much for the question. Is there any way to stay in Japan as a freelancer? So I guess as a creative, people kind of making content, stuff like that. How to get into teaching English in Japan, maybe where to find English jobs if you're outside of Japan. Okay. How much does one earn as an English teacher? Quite interesting, maybe a bit of a range there. And can one work part-time but still get a visa sponsored?
Okay, keep that screen on because cool. There's a lot of questions. Thanks, Bernardo, for your questions. Best way to answer this is to go through my experience. I came to Japan as a student, so student visa. I had that for 18 months. After I graduated, I actually went back to Australia to apply.
You came back to Australia?
Yeah, I went back to Australia because I wanted to apply for the working holiday visa. So you can get this visa up until 31 years of age, I think. If it's still the same, you can only apply in your home country.
So you have to be back in your home country to apply.
You have to go back. I went back for a week, applied for it, then came back to Japan. While I was on that working holiday, I found a good company to work for. I'm still with them now. So they were able to sponsor me on a working visa. Okay, that's my big tip. Find a company that can sponsor you.
Quick question though, where did you find this company?
Okay, which is a very good question. Okay, so Gaijin Pot is a big hub for jobs in Japan. We have a lot of people from overseas actually applying. And asking questions. After the working visa, I found a partner actually, and then I got married. So I'm now on a spousal visa.
You're married to a Japanese national?
That's correct. So that visa you can get for 1 year, your first time, then you can renew. The second time you'll get 3 years. And then after that, depending on how many years you've been in Japan, you can actually get a PR, permanent residence.
Wow, incredible.
So-
Where are you at now?
I am going for that next, actually.
Hey, congratulations, buddy. Congratulations. And a big shout out to Lulu, his partner. Awesome girl. She's incredible.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
Welcome, son. Welcome.
Okay, so the last one, oh gosh, how much does one earn? So it really depends on the company.
There's
But
a bit of a range there for the start when you're teaching English, right?
there is. So if you're working full time, to be honest, it could be from 2 million yen per year up to 5 million yen.
So that range in Australian dollars, at least you can do your conversions to USD, is about 20,000 up to 50,000. And that's full-time hours, 38 hours a week generally. But full-time hours in Japan
And
generally aren't 38 hours, they go a bit more.
But to give you a little glimpse into a different industry, I have a friend in the IT industry. He actually negotiated to get 9 million yen per
About
year.
90 grand.
Yeah, so in Japan, that is a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
So it depends on what you're qualified to do, which is another point. So if you're over 35 with no degree, it's not impossible. There are a lot of visas that you can find on MOFA, so Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
What's on that website?
It goes through the list of all the visas that you can get
Ah, okay.
and
Yeah.
what you need, the requirements. My big tip is to find a good sponsor. So if you have a sponsor, they'll be able to negotiate, or not negotiate, but get you the visa that you want.
Yeah.
So if it's on paper here in Japan, there's no reason for them to reject you.
And final one, can one work part-time only, but still get a visa sponsored? That's a bit trickier, I think.
Of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. So again, that sponsor that you have, if they can be your guarantor, then there's no reason for the government to really say, hey, no. Yeah. So
And on that one as well is, if you are a Japanese student, just like I am here, you actually get the right to work part-time here, which is up to, I think, I could be wrong, around about 20 hours per week. So if you are coming as a student, it is a little bit more difficult to study and work at the same time, but it is possible.
28 hours.
28
I
hours.
think so, yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So that's a possibility of coming here and working, but also still studying the language as well. Okay, excellent, mate. All right, let's get on to the next question. Next question, how would someone without a degree be able to acquire a working visa? We kind of just touched on that one a little bit on the previous question, but want to have some input?
Good question. Yeah. So very similar answer to last time. So depending on the visa that you're applying for, make sure that you have the years banked up of experience in that particular field that you're wanting to enter in Japan. Again, your guarantor will be a huge influence in this, depending on like the size of the company, for example. So yeah, that's my best answer for that.
And if you are wanting to get a working holiday visa here, it does vary per country. So depending on your age, I know there are some countries that have different age limits to where you can apply for that working visa. But if you're outside of that bracket, I guess, of your age and you don't have a degree, I completely understand. I'm in a situation myself. That's why I came here first as a student visa. But do look into that, but there is still the possibility of you getting a sponsored visa, though you will have to have experience in your field, and that is pretty much key when it comes to that.
Yeah, the best thing is just to find a way to extend your stay in Japan, doing what you want to apply for in the future, if you know what I mean. So yeah, just get here and do what you're planning to do as soon as possible. Bank up those years.
Bank up those years. Now, we are currently getting infiltrated by cats right now, and I'm highly allergic, but I'm willing to take that risk. Let's get on to this next question. After teaching English so long in Japan, do you have a favorite story from a class or a student?
Okay, so in Japan, I've taught two types of students. The first job I had, I taught one-on-one to adults. So I created some pretty good connections through this work actually, where I was able to understand more about why they wanted to learn English and why they were so interested about, for example, the English world. It's nice to be able to see how they have taken this learning to the next level, like go overseas for further English study, or even become a monk. That was a pretty wild story, but yeah, one of my students became a monk.
Whoa! So you've taught people, you've taught kids up to adults, up to monks, because they are on the higher level, right?
Yeah, super. My second type, yeah, kids. I'm still teaching kids right now.
And you just had a brand new kid. Sorry, I'm giving that a shout out, man, because I'm super proud of you.
Thanks. You'll get to meet her later. But yeah, kids in particularly kindergarten. You're able to create connections with the parents actually. So it's a nice way to understand the Japanese culture. So how parents and the children interact with each other. It's nice to give a bit of input and to how the kids are raised actually. To be honest, like the parents have been really open and accepting, understanding like the Australian culture, or in my case like a Filipino culture. It's okay to have fun, and be a bit wild and silly too. So we're always showered with gifts actually when a student leaves or graduates. So that's a little cherry on the top.
Speaking of cherries, I'm thinking that most of these gifts are probably fruit, right?
Yeah, fruit is gold in Japan.
People love giving fruit as presents here, and it's not just fruit, but it is the best tasting fruit you'll ever taste. You'll get a strawberry. It's the best strawberry you've had in your life, but it'll also cost you probably about $90 for it.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing to see how much fruit sells for here.
Yeah, incredible. All right, fantastic. Next one. Do you think that English should be a compulsory subject in Japanese schools, or would it be more effective for it to be an elective subject targeted at students with high motivation to learn it? That's a tricky one.
Very good question. Actually, I think English should be taught. Everyone needs to learn English. But to think from a teacher's point of view, actually, it really depends on the teacher. So how a class is taught is the biggest influence, I think. English is actually not learning about the language or learning how to speak the language. I think we learn English to learn how to communicate.
Communication.
And create connections and open up pathways. So we're both here. That's pretty deep, huh?
That's pretty deep.
But yeah, I think we should learn how to communicate and connect with people better. And English is the medium for us.
I actually don't mind. I actually love it here, and I love that it's a kind of a protected island, I guess, where the culture is protected. Not many people do speak English, which can be challenging, but as far as setting them up for the future, English is that worldly language that is used in, transportation, business, every kind of areas of the field as the kind of main language, and kind of setting them up for success. Really, it would be pretty decent to kind of have that as that subject that is kind of required in school, I guess. But it's challenging, man. It's very challenging.
Actually, just a little bit of some comments I get often from the parents. The kids, parents always come to me and they always tell me, when my child speaks in English, they're able to open up a little bit more. And so again, I guess in terms of communication, English is an easier way for them to open up. So yeah, it's that mindset. It's really interesting and amazing. Same child, but a different mindset depending on the language.
Pretty insightful. If you had to start your relationship with Japan over again, including Japanese language, Japanese culture, what would you do different? This is a two-part question. And the second part to it is, what advice would you give to someone traveling to Japan in October for a second consecutive year, congratulations, and willing to go north of the country?
Okay, good questions. So I'll answer the second question first. My advice for you is to try and get to know the locals a little bit more. Tell them it's actually your second time in Japan. They will love that if you tell them. The further you get away from the city, Tokyo and Osaka, the more friendlier the locals become.
Good point in that. If you are kind of going more to north of Japan or to the south of Japan, there is a difference in people. That everywhere is incredible, but they tend to be a bit more open outside of the main central cities like Tokyo and Osaka. As long as you're willing to put the first foot forward. No, wait, as long as you're willing to talk first, essentially. I've mentioned this in previous videos before, so don't be afraid to say hello. They'll absolutely say hello back, so give it a go.
I couldn't agree more. And answering your first question, if I had to start over my relationship with Japan, I wouldn't change anything. I've had a great life here in Japan, 10.5 years. I'm now married. I've got a beautiful daughter. We've got a family here. Through all the struggles that I've had, I'm still here. I'm enjoying life. Just take every day as it comes. Enjoy every single day that you're here. Find your purpose. Why do you want to stay here?
Good point.
Yeah,
Good point.
find your purpose. Yeah.
Awesome. Good answer, mate. You got a pretty good life you set up here. Beautiful
Love it.
wife, lovely daughter. So honestly, I wouldn't see you changing anything either, mate.
No, not a chance. No.
All right. Good question from Jess. Where is your favorite place in Japan and why, excluding major cities? And it's definitely not going to be this spot right here because it's a little bit run down. Yeah.
Okay, so easy question to answer. Amami Oshima. You heard of that?
No, where's that?
Okay, so it's in between Kagoshima and Okinawa.
Oh, that's close.
Yeah, so it's very close to here.
Okay.
So island place with it's like Okinawa with less than half of the tourists. So you've got the whole island to yourself,
Beachy.
basically. Beachy, and of course it's local. That's the best thing.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. All right,
My
so
wife and I always go there. Yeah, so check it out, please. Let's go.
let's go.
Let's go.
How did you get to know your wife and how did you get to know Japan? Great question, by the way.
I know everyone wants to know this question, right? So let's answer the second question first.
Sure.
How did I get to know Japan? To be honest, I got to know Japan through two different things, through food, actually. I worked in the restaurant industry for a very long time and Japanese cuisine was always at the top. I wanted to taste Michelin food, actually.
Ah,
Yeah, so I came here to travel for Michelin food, Japanese style. The second way was through design. So I actually have a fashion design background, and for some reason, all my favorite designers were Japanese. So I wanted to actually live and breathe the same air as they did. So that's
Fair.
getting pretty arty, but yeah, that's
a lot of inspiration here too, actually.
yeah. Oh, definitely. So, the first question: how did I meet my wife? Easy, through an app, actually. 2015, I just finished language school and I entered the workforce. So I had no more chance to speak in Japanese, and so I wanted to continue speaking Japanese. And so I found my wife through an app who actually just came back from overseas, Canada. And she was wanting to learn to continue speaking English. So we were both looking for the same things at the same time. And look at us now, happily married for, well, nearly 5 years now. And we've got a beautiful daughter and she's the best, most amazing thing. Her name is Luna. I can't wait to see her after this, actually, and introduce it to you, Christian.
I can't wait.
Yeah, she's everything for myself and my wife right now. So I'm so blessed to be here now, thanks to that app.
Mate, that's beautiful, mate. Great story.
Yeah.
Great story, buddy.
Thanks.
We'll cut from there. And that is the end of today's video. I just want to say a huge thank you to Nico and everyone that left a question for Nico to answer today. If you do have any other questions, drop a comment below and I'll answer them as best as I can. So guys, that's the end of it today. Up until next time, Jamata, and I'll see you soon.